What's up and welcome to the Bleav in Hornets podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network presented by Bet Online. My name is Sam Dracula. Raymond Felton is with me. Raymond, how are you?
I'm good, baby. I'm good. Another day.
Yeah, another day. Thank you all so much for checking out the podcast. We're here every week, every Monday, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Tobacco Road Sports Radio, YouTube. Tell your friends, leave a rating, subscribe, all that stuff. Make sure you don't miss an episode. We're coming back pretty quickly. We had an episode Friday, last Friday. So go check that out if you haven't hit it already. But we're back to talk some Hornets basketball and some Bobcats basketball, as well as some UNC basketball in this episode. Before we dive into all that, we'll take a quick break. Football might be over for this season, but basketball is in full steam for both pro and college hoops. Head over to betonline.ag or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code BLEAV, B-L-E-A-V, BLEAV, to get started. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline is your source for hockey, boxing, and UFC odds right to your favorite Olympic events. From sports right down to your favorite Vegas casino games, BetOnline is your #1 online wagering destination. BetOnline, the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports and play your favorite games. BetOnline, where the game starts. So at this stage, right, the Hornets, 8 seed in the Eastern Conference. Since we last recorded, they played the Spurs, beat the Spurs. Hornets on a 2-game win streak, things you like to see, trending upwards. Tuesday, they play the Nets at home here in Charlotte. A battle for the 8 seed. Nets and the Hornets are tied 32-33. Raymond, what do you think about that matchup, Hornets versus the Nets, coming up tomorrow as we're recording this?
It's a big game. It's a playoff game. It's one of those games that you live for. You is already preparing yourself for the postseason. A team that's basically has the same record. And I figure whoever wins this game probably going to really solidify that 8th spot. So, big game, man. Big game. I wish the Charlotte team was, all the way healthy, for this particular game. But at the same time, they still getting guys back, have a lot of key guys back already. And it should be interesting. Might be a game I might go check out.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think I may be going. A friend of mine, he likes to write off tickets as business expenses. So he said, "Hey, you want to go to a game?" I'm like, "Yes, I do. Let's go." So I may be in the building for that tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. You mentioned the health. So we got some positive news from Jalen McDaniels, who's been out for almost 2 months now. He's doing work in practice again. He's listed as questionable now, which from being listed as out for so long, questionable is a positive thing. We're moving right in the right direction with that. Gordon Hayward, he's out of the walking boot, making progress. I think, much different timetable for him versus McDaniels. But, this team has been playing very well since the All-Star break, 3-2 in that time. Top 10 in the NBA in both offensive and defensive ratings. 7th overall in net rating. Credit to Sam Prelli for those stats. So, the All-Star break seemed to have come at a good time for the squad. And now we're going to keep talking about health. That's going to be the main contributing factor because we're at the point of the season. I know they signed Isaiah Thomas to a 10-day, but the roster's pretty locked at this point. So you got to rock with what you have going the rest of the way with, I think, 17 games left. So it's going to come quick. And other teams are in the same boat, too. We're all be struggling. Like Jared Allen, I think, just got hurt, too. So, guys, it's going to become like a war of attrition as you enter this final stretch. What kind of key things, would we play? As a player, are you looking just to maintain and kind of peak at the right time? Because, we got the playoffs around the corner. What's kind of the mindset going into, the final stretch here of the regular season?
The mindset is definitely to try to stay healthy, try not to get hurt. But I feel like when you plan to not get hurt, you get hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you're playing careful. So you just got to go out there and play and just trust God, trust yourself, trust the basketball gods that, nothing happens to you, nothing, happens to none of your teammates, and just stay the course. It's unfortunate that things like that happen. People get hurt, people get injured, some more severe than others. And, just like you said, Jerry Allen just went down with a fractured finger, hand, whatever it was. So, he's out for a while now. So, I mean, things happen, man. Things that you can't prepare for. And it's just one of those things where you just got to say next man up. The next guy got to step into that place and fulfill that void until he's able to get back, if he's able to get back. And the same thing with Charlotte. Gordon Hayward is out, been out for a minute. Other guys got to step up and fill that void until he's able to come back. You know what I'm saying? So, they look good so far. When they last two, you got a real big one coming up, tomorrow night. So, hope those guys is getting some rest right now and getting their mind right to come out for an extremely dogfight, because this team just lost a game too. So they're coming in ready to play and come in and try to win. So they got to be ready, and they are starting to get healthy themselves as well. So it's going to be a great game. Like I said, it's a game that I think I might want to go see live.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people are kind of on the same boat. Like, oh man, these games I think are must see on TV or in the building the rest of the way. Especially when you look at, we got the Celtics after that. A team that's really flipped the switch post All-Star. Like what they've been doing defensively has been next level. The Pelicans have turned the corner in a big way.
That's my sleeper right there.
The Thunder are no joke either. Hornets have struggled against the Hawks, Mavs, Pelicans again. So they're no easy games the rest of the way here. So you got to capitalize, especially the games at home. At least I would think so. I like this team's chances at home against anybody in the league, but let alone we got to see we'll see what happens with it. But yeah, what about the Pelicans stands out to you? You mentioned they're your sleepers.
Just the way they've been playing. They've been playing extremely hard defensively. They've been playing together. I think CJ really came in and really fit with those guys. He fit with Brandon, and just they've been playing well off each other. They're doing a good job. Played as a 1-2 punch. Like I don't know, they playing some of the best basketball in the second half that you can put them up there with any other team who's being successful right now. They've won some games. They beat some good teams too. So you got to give them some credit.
Yeah, they're a 10 seed right now. Again, Hornets fans, we need them in the playoffs so we get their pick. All right, keep that in mind. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm really happy with the interest level and the storylines going into this, because even with the Pelicans, Zion is back with the team. Like he look like he's gonna be I don't think he's gonna return anytime soon, but I saw a report that he's no longer rehabbing and recovering away from the team, so he may be nearing an on the court reemergence. So that's gonna be interesting. A Pelicans with a fresh Zion is kind of scary when you think about it. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think there's a lot of boxes need to be checked before that happens, and then we can keep it to Duke UNC in a second. We're gonna talk about that. In a second. I'm gonna go back to Saturday because the Hornets played the Spurs Saturday night at the same time in Uptown, Charlotte FC. I know this is not a soccer podcast, but I think it's worth noting, just for the Charlotte sports significance. We had its home opener. The Charlotte FC had its home opener against the LA Galaxy. It was an incredible thing. I was in the building for that. 74,000 people in Bank of America Stadium, sold out. It was incredible atmosphere. That place for 90 minutes wanted badly to celebrate something, and it's a brand new team. And they're clearly not ready to compete with the better teams in the league. But you could tell like there's hints of things there, and the fan base is doing its best to will it into existence. Like the tailgates were popping, the crowds were singing, especially the national anthem. There's some audio issues early on. I know the game was on Fox, but I don't know if it came through the broadcast. But yeah, the audio kicked right after "Oh, say can you see?" basically. And the whole building joined in. I had goosebumps. So it was actually a pretty cool thing to be part of. Fireworks let off. Steve Smith was the honorary captain. Jimmy Johnson walked the team out. So they're doing their best to ingratiate themselves in the sports scene in Charlotte as the new kids on the block. So it's a cool thing to see. You know, another thing for Charlotte sports fans to at least pay attention to. You may not want to go to every game or watch them on TV or whatever, but I encourage anyone out there, if you're even a little bit interested in Charlotte FC, go check it out. It's a good time. You won't regret it. It's 2 hours. Worst case, it's 2 hours, then you're out of there. Like, that's the good thing about soccer. There's no overtime. Like, you can budget 2 hours in your day, and you can go home. Have you been to a soccer game before?
Never, honestly. So I think that's something I'm gonna have to go check out for sure.
Yeah. If anyone with Charlotte FC, contact Raymond Feltham. Get him. Get him in the Steve Smith seat. They put Steve Smith in a crown, like in a throne. They give him like a crown. Like I don't know what they did to like kick things off. But yeah, he was on the big board. He was like the honorary, like I don't know what they called it, but it was cool. It was a good presentation.
Okay. Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, hook up Raymond Felton, man. So at the same time as the Charlotte FC game, as the Hornets Spurs game, Duke UNC was going on. All right. Coach K's last game at Cameron Indoor Stadium. The UNC Tar Heels spoil things, to say the least. Raymond, what are your thoughts?
Oh, well, man. I mean, you know, I'm extremely happy, buddy. Nah, man. You know, hey, listen. I'm glad my boys won. Listen, I'm Tar Heel. I'm Tar Heel to the day I die. So, you know, I'm definitely extremely happy that my boys got that win. You know, they beat us. They beat us in the Smith Center. So, you know, we had to come down there, you know, and get our face back. You know, they played a great game. They played together. You know, they fought hard. They played Carolina basketball. That's what I love to see. Now, on the flip side, I have to give my respect to Coach K. You know, he's definitely one of the best coaches to do it. And just what he's done over the years, what he's done for that program, for that school is nothing but amazing. And you got to give respect when the respect is due. You know, I know a lot of Carolina fans might be like, what are you talking about, Raymond? Hey, listen, I give respect. Yeah. At the end of the day, no matter what, no matter who, no matter where the school is, who's at the school, it don't even matter. I give respect to players, I give respect to coaches. And he's definitely by far, you know, one of the best coaches that ever coached this game. And it was an honor to play against him, play against his teams, just to be in his presence, you know what I'm saying? So all respect to Coach K, you know, to his career, you know, him being a Hall of Famer, him to go down as one of the best coaches to do it, you know what I'm saying? So definitely much respect to you, Coach K.
Nice. I think it's well said. That's well said. With sports, you compete against people and it matters because you respect them, right? Like it
no question.
If you don't, there's no satisfaction in beating somebody you don't respect. Like it adds to the whole thing.
I mean, at the end of the day, like I tell people all the time when they get into that Duke Carolina, like, yeah, it's in a rivalry. Yes. You know, we talk junk amongst each other as players. You know what I'm saying? When I was in the league, if I was on the team with a person who went to Duke, it was always an automatic bet. Like, I bet you whatever again for this game. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just one of those things. But I think the dislike and the anger and all that was amongst the fans and the students. Like, we all got along. And then for the most part, we all knew each other since high school or, you know, playing against each other within that basketball realm. Like, we already knew each other. So when we went to college, it was just one of those things where, all right, now we're a rivalry now. We're going to beat y'all when we see y'all. You know, it was just something that simple. But we still hung out with each other. Mm-hmm. Like, Sean Dockery is one of my best friends when we was in college. You know what I'm saying? Like, from high school all the way through. So it was just like, it was no bad blood. You know, when we saw each other, it was on. You know, we know once we stepped on that court, you know, we going at each other. Didn't matter. JJ Redick, you know, same McDonald's game. We played against each other, had a lot of battles in high school, AAU, camps. But when we stepped on that court, it was, hey, I'm going at you. But when we got off the court, it was love. You know, we was friends. So, you know, it's just part of it, man. You know, you're going to be competitive, but at the same time, we had a mutual respect for one another when we stepped off the court.
Well, why'd you end up going to UNC? What stood out to you? Well,
being from the Carolinas, being from South Carolina, it was a dream, you know, to follow the GOAT, to follow Michael Jordan. That's the school he went to. And as a kid, just watching Carolina, all the greats come through there, from my era. My daddy era was James Worthy, MJ, Phil Ford, saying Kenny Smith, like the list goes on, Jimmy Black. Like I can name a whole bunch of guys, and I'm missing a lot of them that's just greats. I'm missing a whole bunch of them. Those just some of the ones that I'm naming right now. Then you go to, my era, what I remember. You know what I'm saying? I remember, that first Carolina team I was watching was Rasheed and them. You know what I'm saying? Rasheed, Jerry Stackhouse. You come in with Twan and Vince. Then you got Shaman Williams added in with those guys. So I remember remember a little bit of the '93 championship team with George Lynch, Eric Montross, Donna Williams and all them. Derek Phelps is the point guard. I remember a little bit of that team, but after that was really when I started to lock in and really watch, those guys play and stuff. So I just loved it, man. I just love those colors. I love the atmosphere. I just love I just love to watch them play. It was just an excitement. And I just told myself, man, I wish I can go there one day. I hope I can make it. And then, once that dream came true, man, it was just nothing but amazing.
Yeah. At what point in your basketball career did you think, oh, I can go pro? Like when did that become like hit your radar?
A fun fact about me, bro. Like I came from being ranked nothing to top 25 in one summer, and then coming back, and that was going into my junior year, finishing out my junior year, having a great high school season, and then going into the AAU ranks that summer as one of the top point guards, not even still considered the top, and then going against Sean Dockery, Anthony Robeson, a couple of guys who was ranked before me as point guards, and just really just making a statement for myself, and end up being considered one of the top 3 players, top point guard in my class. I won the Naismith Award that year as the National Player of the Year. Number 1 player in high school basketball class of 2002. So once that happened, and I got a couple calls, my mom and dad got a couple calls from some agents, and some consideration of some teams and stuff for me to come straight out of high school. So I knew at that point.
Because at that, just for people listening, the 2005 was last year high school players were in the draft. Well, that was the draft class you were in. So just for folks listening, that's like time frame. Like high school players very much in play to make the jump into the league.
Right.
So like those types of talks were happening in your household. Like, what about going now versus going to college?
Right. And my mom shut it down. She was like, no, you're not ready. You're not mature enough. And, I want you to go to college. So, back then I listened to any and everything my mom and them said, my mom and dad, because they never steered me in the wrong direction. So, it wasn't no fight back. I was like, okay, whatever. I want to go to Carolina anyway. So, once I started getting those type of looks, and I was able to be, considered one of the best players in my class of '02, being from a small town, being from where I was from in South Carolina, I kind of figured I had a chance. And now it was just all about what I did with the opportunity. Now I feel like I'm on the NBA's radar. Now what you going to do now when you go to college? And I just went to college, bro, and I worked. I was a gym rat. I wanted to get better. I was soaking up, when those NBA guys came back in the summertime and played against us and beat up on us. Like I took advantage of all that, being around them, talking to them, like just soaking up the knowledge, man, just soaking up just that opportunity to just, be in their presence, because the ultimate goal was to be where they was at. So I wanted to be like them, just like a little kid in the candy store, just looking up to them like, man, I'm trying to get to where you at, what it takes, and I just remember all of them just telling me, man, just work, just stay in the gym, stay where you at right now. Like everything else, take care of itself. Everything else will come. Don't worry about nothing else. Just stay in here. So I listened to that, man. I did that. So, and it paid off.
Yeah, it did, to say the least. So, because Thanks for sharing that. That's really cool because it also leads into the next thing I want to talk to you about because in 2002, so '02 is when you graduated high school?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So at that time, the Hornets left for New Orleans. So there was there's no professional basketball in the Carolinas, right? Well, 2004 is the first year of the Bobcats. Emeka Okafor is drafted. The team goes 18-64 in their first year in the league. At that point, you're a year away from declaring. What's going through your mind as like, all right, so okay, there's basketball all of a sudden in North Carolina in Charlotte again. You're thinking you're going to be a pro at some point. The idea of playing professional basketball in front of friends and family at home, whether it's for the team or like coming in and visiting, is that on your radar? I think like, oh man, this is really cool. Bobcats are back in Charlotte. There's basketball back in Charlotte. Does that cross your mind at all at that point?
Honestly, bro, I just wanted to get into the NBA. I didn't care. I wasn't thinking about none of that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get drafted just to go through that whole experience, and it was everything. I remember it like it was yesterday. That day stepping across that stage and shaking David Stern's hand was the day that it changed me and my family's life. So that was one of the most memorable moments that I've had in my life, in my career. But the day that it was the Charlotte Bobcats that picked me up, oh man, I was on cloud nine. Yeah. I'm like, man, I'm staying in the Carolinas. And, just coming off a national championship, right up the road from Carolina, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, I don't know, it was just like a fairy tale. I just couldn't believe it that I was still staying in the Carolinas playing professional ball with my big fella, you know what I'm saying, that I was comfortable with, that, we did a lot of, work and damage together in college basketball. So, it was just, I don't know, man, it was just like everything was just perfect. So, my first NBA game, man, I don't know how many buses of load of people come down before I was from, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure my hometown was empty when nobody there. But, it was beautiful, man, to be able to do that and then speak to everybody after the game and just, look at some of those little kids that was in those stands at that time and just tell them that, anything is possible. Anything is possible, We come from the same area, we cut from the same cloth, and I did it, so can you. So, that's why I love to see guys like Ja, Zion, those guys who grew up in those little small towns, those areas like I did, to see them perform on the level that they perform and doing the things that they doing, at a high level, it just makes me smile, man.
So what about, you, Sean May, 5th and 13th respectively in the draft. Marvin Williams goes 2nd in the draft. Rashad McCants goes 14th in the draft. 4 Carolina guys in the lottery. What was that day like amongst you guys? Like, are you texting each other? Like, are you like what is there group chat? Like, what's going on? What's going on draft day?
We all sitting in there nervous, just like, man, who is going to get us? Who's going to pick us up? My agent sitting at the table with me. I got my mom, my dad, my 2 sisters. We all sitting at the table, just itching, just nervous. And it was like 3 teams that could pick me. And it was just like, man. So, first pick, Andrew Bogut, he went to Milwaukee, I think. So I'm like, oh, okay. Second pick, Marv goes. Oh, I'm just excited, happy. I stand up, hug him. Congratulations, bro. He went to Atlanta. Third pick, Utah. They picked Darren Williams. So I'm like, all right, cool. That's a point guard. Okay. All right, cool. Next one, New Orleans. They picked CP. I was like, all right, cool. Okay. Another point guard. All right. These are 2 guys that, I was battling with to, get picked. So, all right, cool. They went. So I'm like, all right, they ain't going to pick 3 point guards right behind each other. So I'm thinking, because I knew that the Knicks, and it's just funny that, I end up going to the Knicks after I leave Charlotte. The Knicks had already said they was going to pick me if I was there. Okay. I think the Knicks had the 7th pick.
8th. They ended up with Channing Frye that year. So, yeah.
They had the 8th pick. So, I already knew that I was going from, they said I can go from 3 to 10 within that whole, I could go to any team within that So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to the Knicks. All right. So I'm just really chilling, not really thinking. Like Charlotte was on my radar. Like I know Charlotte liked me, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know the interest was that high. So when my agent, it's right before they was finna announce him, my agent looked at me and said, Charlotte about to pick you. I said, what? So I'm like, oh, for real? So I'm like getting antsy. I'm like, oh man. Like, and then sure enough, Dave Stern came up there and he said my name. And I didn't know what to feel. You know what I'm saying? I just hugged my mama first, hugged my daddy. You know what I'm saying? He kind of held me for a long time. You know what I'm saying? I almost thought he was about to cry. I'm like, man, don't do this to me on national television, man. We ain't about to do this. You know what I'm saying? We gonna smile this one out. We'll cry later. But nah, it was a beautiful thing, man. Then after that happened, you know, then the pick goes down, Rashad goes to Minnesota, Sean, you know, then that was exciting to see Sean gets picked the last pick in the lottery, come to the Bobcats as well. So when he came in the back, you know, we all hugging, getting excited, saying we're gonna be together, bro. So, you know, it was one of the most memorable moments, man, that you know, I can't even put into words what it felt and how it felt.
No, it's incredible. You know, like that run, that team, I mean, I'll tell you, you were there. It was incredible to watch as a neutral. Because even like at that point, for folks, a little bit of background about me. Like I was born in St. Louis, kind of grew up around Illinois. And so that Illinois team led by Darren Williams, Luther Head, D Brown, like that squad really like pulled a lot of, because Illinois doesn't have a lot of winning outside of the Bulls. You know, I think the White Sox won the World Series that year too. But, you know, there was like, oh my God, Illinois has a winner here. The Final Four was in St. Louis, so like that's a really short drive. And then they run into y'all, man. And you guys, like, oh man, it's like, all right, everything, all the stars lined up, and it got blocked right by UNC in the title game. But for me, like I was a neutral. I was rooting for you guys. Can't lie. Like I had no ties to U of I or anything like that. But until later, like I would go to the campus. I didn't go to school there. I had friends that did. I'll go visit. Had a good time. Shout out to Champaign. But you know, yeah, like that squad was a lot of fun for me to watch from afar. That's one of the reasons why fast forward to 2022 doing a podcast with you is wild to me. It's still like weird how life can go full circle sometimes. But no, thank you. Like I thank you for doing this podcast with me.
No
and this
problem,
is really
man.
Really cool.
I'm enjoying it.
So we're continuing down memory lane here. This is what happens when we only have one Hornets game to talk about. We're going down memory lane, y'all. So I'm going to stick with the UNC connection because in 2008, Larry Brown is hired by the Bobcats. What was it like playing for Larry Brown? What were your thoughts when you first heard about him coming in? And then when you finally got to work with him, what was that like?
I mean, to me, man, it was everything. You know, it was everything. It was tough at times because he was just one of those type of coaches. But love him to death. I love that man to death. And he did a lot for my basketball, my NBA career, my NBA basketball game, just, you know, reconstructing my mind to think a certain way, you know what I'm saying? Like you have different levels and different coaches that, you know, help you with your game. I had AAU high school, I had college with Coach Williams who helped shape my game. Then I had, you know, different coaches, Mike D'Antoni, Coach Woodson, Mike Woodson, you know, Coach Larry Brown, you know, Coach Rick Carlisle, just different coaches that did certain things to help shape my game in different ways, mentally, physically, so many things. And then for LB, man, like, you know, I tell this story all the time. Like I had a amazing game, like almost like a 1 rebound, 1 assist. I can't remember what it was from a triple-double. I'm talking about I was just had a great game. This man told me I still don't know how to play the point. So it just bothered me after the game because I'm like, dang, like we won. I thought I had a great game. Like, man, like what do you mean? So I went into his office the next morning before practice. You know, I was like, Coach, can I talk to you? And he was like, yeah, come on in. So, you know, closed the door. And I said, man, this bothered me all night, Coach. I couldn't even sleep. I said, what did you mean by that? Like I said, you told me last night that I didn't know how to play the point. And I'm like, I thought I had a pretty solid game, coach. We won. I thought my numbers was good. My turnover was down. I felt like I ran the team the way that you wanted me to. And he said, son, I love you. Still didn't apologize now by what he said. Let's let that be known. He never say sorry.
Yep.
He said, son, I love you. He said, I just want the best for you. He said, I'm just trying to get the best out of you. He said, I'm going to do it any way I can. And from that point on, I never questioned anything he did, anything he said. I just listened to him, and I felt that. I felt that was real, what he said to me. And after, being up under him for those years, he did. He meant that. He really was trying to get the best out of me, and we ended up making the playoffs and, got beat in the first round. But, Charlotte ain't seen the playoffs in a very long time in that city. So, it was exciting. It was fun. You know what I'm saying? It was rocking. Every night we played, it was rocking. We had a good team. You came into Charlotte, you knew you was in a dogfight. You know you're gonna have to play. You know what I'm saying? So, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, let's see. I just had it in front of me. 1 second here. All right. Okay, so yeah, 44 and 38 that year. And that Magic team you guys ran up, that team was in the finals. Like, that's peak Dwight, man. When Dwight was at the peak of his powers.
Dwight, Jameer Nelson, man. Like, yeah. Jameer was just going crazy. And I'm just looking at coach like, man, what you want me to do? This man coming off every pick and he ain't missing.
Yeah.
Like, I was getting hit by picks, trying to fight over the pick, and he was just pulling up. And that rascal was not missing shots. I told him after the series, I said, dang, bro, you had to do me like that? I said, you just ain't gonna miss no shots, huh? But he continued his raft, though, because like you said, they went to the finals. And was that the year he got hurt?
So they went to the when you guys met him in the playoffs, they were in the finals the previous year. I think this team went into, like, they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Celtics, I think.
Okay.
If memory serves correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they went. So yeah, they swept the Bobcats, swept the Hawks, and lost 2-4 to the Celtics, who might have won they lost to the Lakers in the finals. Because you're talking Ray Allen, KG, like that squad, in 09, 2010.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, oof.
Yeah, that team was loaded. Yeah. That team was loaded.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you good. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that same year, there's an ownership change in Charlotte. Mm-hmm. The GOAT buys the Bobcats.
Right.
Sticking with the UNC thing, did you ever think you would be playing for a team owned by Michael Jordan? Like, what was that like? There was, I think, earlier in that year, some rumors about Bob Johnson selling the team. I don't remember if it was like a foregone conclusion that MJ would be the owner, but I think February 2010 is when it became official. So from your perspective, when you hear like Michael Jordan's about to buy the Bobcats, like, what's going on? Does that enter your mind? And what kind of a relationship do you have with MJ?
Oh man, that was crazy. Obviously, that's family.
Yeah.
Forever. You know what I'm saying? Just Carolina by itself. You know what I'm saying? And just spending that time with him. When I was in Charlotte with the Bobcats, because even before he bought the team, he still was coming around for like those 2 or 3 years, especially when Coach Brown got there. Mm-hmm. He really was around as already as a part owner, and then being sole owner. In that last year I was there. Being the majority owner. So that was just big for him, big for his family, his friends, his everybody. It was just amazing, man. And I just hate that, the whole situation went down the way it did in the off season, which I didn't have no control over, but we ain't gonna speak on that. Had to fire my agent. That's all I'm gonna say in that situation. The
off season that led to you leaving and going to New York?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, but things happen. I love New York too. Things was amazing there. I can't complain at all. Mm-hmm. So I can't really say anything negative. You know what I'm saying? I still get a lot of love in New York and, love those days that I had there. But I probably should have never left Charlotte though. It was just one of those situations where it was bad communication from my agent. And yeah, needless to say, I got him out of there.
Understandable.
Yeah,
Understandable.
Yeah.
But at that time was I mean, listen, if you don't want to say, I picture Michael Jordan in 2010 still thinking he can still play, can lace him up and getting out onto the court.
Oh, man, I got a picture of me playing against him one-on-one. Nice. Yeah, I got a picture of that, man. We always, me, him, Jerome Wallace. Man, who else was out there? I want to say, was it Steven Jackson?
Oh, man.
It was a couple of us out there. We was just playing one-on-one. You know, everybody wanted that chance to go at MJ, saying guard him or play or try to score on him, you know what I'm saying? So, it was fun, man. It was fun. He still had that competitive spirit. I think he beat us too. Oh, and that's the crazy thing. I think he beat us. I can't remember though. Yeah. But I think he beat us.
Oh man. That's really cool. That's really
that was a moment right there to play one-on-one versus Michael Jordan. That was everything. And I have a picture of that. I would never lose that picture.
Oh man. Because I remember this past offseason, Kelly Oubre gave an interview talking about the first time he met Michael Jordan, like after he signed with the Hornets. And the very first, like MJ, according to Kelly Oubre, MJ met him for the first time and immediately started talking trash to him. So I obviously never met him. I feel, you hear the stories, the competitiveness. That never leaves. Right?
Yeah. And it's probably true because he was talking so much junk to us that day to the point where I think he came in the gym and then he came back dressed to play. Because he was just talking junk. And we told him, go lace it up there. Come on back out here. And sure enough, he went in the back, came back in the gym. He was ready to play one-on-one. I said, oh, man.
Here we go.
Nah, it was fun, though.
Oh, man, I love it.
It was fun.
I love it because I feel like he was like, all right, if anyone dares, I'm ready. Like, I bet he was like ready to go at any point.
Tell you, man, it was fun, though.
Excellent. Awesome. No, this was cool. I like the change of pace of going, diving back into like the history of Charlotte basketball and your playing career. So yeah, thanks for sharing all that stuff. That's really cool.
No problem, man. No problem.
All right, so just to put a bow on things, as we talked about at the top of the podcast, Hornets play the Nets tomorrow at 7 p.m. Very big game, big time Eastern Conference standings ramifications for that. Hornets have a lot to prove the rest of the way. I think I'm confident the way this season's been playing post All-Star, we can get there. I think we can get there. What we're saying. So the Hornets at the moment, 32 wins, 33 losses. The Cavs, 5 games ahead in the win column, maybe a little too ambitious, but the Raptors at the 7th seed, 2 games in the win column away from them. Who knows, man? Anything can happen. A lot of basketball left to be played, and this Hornets team's getting healthy. Hayward's going to be back on the court sooner than later. So we get to see this team at full strength. Finally. Hopefully there's enough games left to really make it a difference. Like, sure, him coming back with 1 game left would be great, helpful, but it would be really nice to get him before April. Knock on wood for that.
Yeah, at least 10 games.
Yeah,
at least 10 games.
At least 10 games. Because like last year, man, if the Hornets won the play-in, he was going to be ready to play in the playoffs. Like, that's how close the timing was for his injury. Right. So hopefully we can flip that around. He can be back for this final stretch, and we have him for the play-in this time around because we'll need him. We're going to end up in some playing, like we play. The East is crazy. I don't know when I can't remember a time when the East was this competitive. And as a fan, like it's what you want. Like, it's gonna go wire to wire, and no easy games the rest of the way. So make sure you don't miss it.
Hey, for real, all you Charlotte fans out there, need y'all to go to the arena tomorrow. Go support those guys, man. Be in that building, be loud for them, get them going. It's a really big game for them, man. I need y'all to go out there and support them, not just from the TV. We need you to look at it from the TV screen too, but I need y'all to go in that building. They need to be loud in there tomorrow night.
Yes, yeah. This is our job. It's your job as fans to get this place going. We need that. Need that. Well, Raymond, thank you so much as always. Everybody out there, thank you so much for listening. You've been listening to the Bleav in Hornets podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network, presented by Bet Online. We'll talk to you next week.